Welcome to Living with Intuition Coffee Chats, your source of real perspectives, insight, and humor from down-to-earth, kick-ass intuitives. Join Lindsay from Super Secret Powers and Andrea from A Soul's Journey with Andrea as we delve into today's coffee chat.
Just go.
Oh, I don't see it. It's not on my page. Where are you? Hello. Still figuring out the new thing. Just give us a second.
All it said was go. But now it says I'm live.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Okay, yay, we're live on both pages. My page and Lindsay's. So yay.
So hi.
Hello.
I'm Lindsay from Super Secret Powers,
and I'm Andrea from A Soul's Journey with Andrea.
And we get together once a week and we do this little talk show, and it's called Living with Intuition. And today we are talking about trusting new beginnings. Because it's that time of year.
Yes, this new moon is really, it's a big message of this new moon with the whole new beginning thing. And I've been really thinking about it a lot this week about because there's a lot of new beginnings. We do it all the time. It's a new version of us every time we go through that kind of cycle of becoming more and more of the true authentic self, growing into ourselves, I guess is a good way of putting it, because
especially for 2024.
Because after last year we're just I've had lots and lots of new beginnings that have not been the easiest to get a hold of. And it doesn't even feel like a new beginning sometimes. It feels like yuck. It feels like you're just being torn down completely just to be reborn. But when you're in the middle of it, in the thick of it, it just feels like it's never ending, and that you go into some of those modes where it's like, oh my God, is this ever going to clear up? Are we ever going to get out of it? But then all of a sudden, it clicks. What you're supposed to learn, what you're supposed to get out of it, the journey that it was taking you on to find what was like the root of the problem that you were having or something. And then all of a sudden you feel different about it. The new perspective kicks in and you feel more clear about it. And then it feels more like that new beginning than just a turmoil that you thought you were in.
But now I think you're talking about the new beginning because you have to make a new beginning because you're forced to.
Sometimes, yeah. But sometimes I bring it on myself. I mean, because I go deep, because I am always thinking about these kind of things and how to improve myself, how to get what I want out of my life, how to get, not even totally the manifesting process or anything, but just
that is.
It is, but not doing the ritual writing it all the time.
No, part of your personal.
Right. It's just like an automatic kind of thing, my process, how I journal and stuff. So I'm like, what do I need to do, Andrea, to get from point A to point B kind of thing? And then you ask the universe for help and all of that gets kicked in. And sometimes you still get the turmoil though, because you have to do the shadow work. You have to work through things to get to where you want to go. So it's not always just, ponies and unicorns and roses.
Well, yeah. But how do you even begin making change knowing under the belief that, of course, you're going to follow through and it's going to change, Well,
me, it's I was stuck in yuck. That's what I call it, yuck, where I was depressed and anxious and just so miserable with life at one point that I didn't know how to get out of it. And I spent a long time in it. And now that I've kind of learned how to trust my feelings and trust who I am, I find that when I feel the yuck coming on, I'm like, okay, Andrea, where's this coming from? Why is it here? What do you need to do to solve the problems that are around it? And it might be because I have a psychology background too, that I kind of do that self-counseling kind of thing too. And maybe it kicked in a long time ago because of that. But even so, when I went through a divorce, it seemed like all that stuff went out the window for a while. But I always feel as though the universe takes us down for a reason. And I don't mean it like in a really bad way, taking you down, but you get sick. You might get the flu, you might get COVID, you might end up like sleeping for a week or something. It's because you need that time to get on a different path, to get clarity, to rest up for what's next. And I feel like my whole divorce thing was part of that process, to not only find me, but to let go of so much that I had held on to, even didn't even have to do with the divorce particularly, but it helped me let go of so much more than I ever thought I would. And it's when you sometimes surrender to it and let it happen. And that is part of your shadow work. Yeah. You can't hold on to things and never talk about it, even to yourself. Because sometimes there's things, like I went through phases where, well, if I don't talk about my husband, if I don't talk about it to myself or write about it or anything, then I'm being positive.
Yeah,
no, because it builds up so much that you just go, in the end, and you have to explode and do it the hard way. When now it's like, okay, Andrea, you've said this one statement like 3 days in a row, like broken record. Why? And so I sit down with it. I kind of catch it. I'm more aware. And it doesn't come easy to be aware of those things. It's been a journey for me to do that too.
Well, if we were aware of it, it wouldn't have happened.
But it had to happen. I feel like everything in my life
so we can
made
become
me
aware of it.
Yeah, it's who I am today because of all that. The strength, the confidence, the finding myself is actually an exciting process if you can think that way, even when you have a bad day. Everything is for a purpose. To me, I feel it's for a purpose. But it's the way you handle it too. I mean, you can't. It's hard to explain when you're going through stuff why you stay there as long as you do. But when you come out of it and you realize all the things you did while you were in that state, even though you thought you were like in a horrible place, it actually was helping you grow and learn and find yourself so that you could snap out of it, so you can move forward from those hard times. If I'm explaining it right. Does it make any sense?
It does, until the point that it doesn't. Until the point that it doesn't. And then it's just holding on to security until you're ready to spread your own wings.
Yeah. I know that I stayed too long because it was comfortable.
If we're talking about divorce
or anything,
because
I went through.
How does that apply to like somebody trying to go to the gym and create change?
See, with me, my whole lifestyle change happened when my dad died. He took his own life, and it's 10 years this July, and I feel like that started a journey all on its own. I didn't want to be obese because he was like over 300 pounds, and he kind of never left the house, and he had a lot of problems with his health and mental, going around all that obesity and not being mobile and everything. And I feel like that triggered something deep inside me when he died that I don't want. I have his genetics. I have part of him in me. And I'm like, I don't want to go down this road. I want to be healthy. I don't want heart problems when I get older. I don't, my his brother was a hard diabetic. I says all these things run in the family, and it all became apparent to me at that point, like the red light, And I think that some challenges in our life are meant to do that too. It's not as hard as the divorce in the same way, but still takes you on a journey to finding something in yourself. It always happens for a reason, And then 2 years later, my stepdad died and continued that journey of healing, things that happened in my childhood and all. And I feel like that loosened me up and brought me to the point where I could quit my job. I could file for divorce. And slowly, all those new beginnings were getting me to the point where I could free myself and start really the new beginning that it was all meant to be about. And,
Yeah.
I feel like they're like everything in your life is connected like that. Things happen for a reason to keep you going. You have different stages, different, milestones, whatever you want to call them, awakenings. I don't think it only happens once. I think that's, the journey never ends.
Right. It's continuous.
So you're becoming a different person each time, a different version of yourself, growing, and your frequency is getting higher, and you're waking up more, and at least that's my journey. I mean, and I just feel like when you look at it that way, it's an exciting adventure to go on.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I had parts of my life that was total hell. But now I see it differently. And when things come up, I don't get stressed out. I don't worry like as much as I used to. I trust more in the process because I know it does work out even better than I ever thought it would. I never thought I would be where I am today,
How did you deal with the things that they weren't like instant gratification kind of things?
Oh, no.
So even like the weight loss journey, like you're tracking pound by pound, and sometimes that can get really tedious.
It does.
But what about like something with business? Because I know we're both kind of like in that mode where it's kind of like this blind process. I mean, sure, you can watch the numbers go up but they're vanity metrics. They're not real things yet. So
I feel like I've grown that way too. The same kind of thing.
How did you deal with it though? What did you do? Like how do you go through that?
Every stage, I've learned that looking back at things, it wasn't a failure because that part of the business plan didn't work or something. I kept reinventing it. Like each time you become a different person because of the things that happened in your life. It's the same kind of process, really, when you think about it. Because when I look back at all the things that I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I'm still thinking the same way. I just have new computer trinkets to do things with, and new things to work with because I've learned since then, and new people and new places and new things that just like help you grow so that you're not staying stagnant in that little cup that that little place that you thought you were so great and you had to do it this way. But then all of a sudden you break out of that and now I'm thinking this way about my business. And, I dumped a little bit, but the big picture is still basically the same. And then, now I can do this. So now it's bigger. And I feel like that's how the journey over like maybe last 10 years with business has just been for me, is that each time I think I failed, I was actually just breaking out of that mold and into something bigger and better because I learned from that and I had a new, better idea that just added to that, not really started over, but it's always been this. But then it just, everything that you've learned and experienced in life and done and places you go and people you meet, break you out of that small little container that you just can't stay there. You have to constantly grow. That's what, that's who we are supposed to be. An infinite.
Infinite, yeah.
Yes.
Always evolving.
Always evolving, right.
Yeah.
Bettering yourself, being the best you can be in that particular moment. Because maybe you're just not ready for something else the universe has in store for you yet. But it's going to come. And that's the way that's the way I believe.
Especially if you continue to want it to come and continue to choose it.
Right. I continue to choose to better myself every day in general. And I really do feel like everything starts with that self-love and being grateful for what you already have and the people in your life and the things. And I am always like, since I was a little kid, I've had a prayer list. I remember being like a little kid in bed, and I used to write it down. And I used to pray for grandma and for my teacher and for, and I'd have like a ton of people to just, get out, talk about before I go to bed because I wanted good things for them. And I was grateful for what they did for me and everything. And I feel like I never really changed completely. I just evolved into other kinds of methods of doing that, but I just feel like it doesn't have to be as treacherous as we make it. I know I've had bad moments, and I can't say that I didn't. And I don't know if I could ever change the way it happened, even knowing what I know now. But I know that the process is what counted. Even though I had to go through stuff like that, it makes you bigger, better, stronger. Oh God, that sounds like a song.
What song?
Isn't there a song called "Stronger" by Kanye West? Yes. I don't like him as a person, but I do like his music. So yes, I'm thinking of that song, "Stronger." I do that music, but I can't say that enough, that you can't get down on yourself for where you're at right now, because I really feel like when they say that, something's just right around the corner, that doesn't mean like tomorrow, but it really
might not mean
right. Sometimes it is. It is. I mean, sometimes it is, but I used to get hung up on that. Like, why isn't it happening? Why am I doing all these things and it's still not happening? And I feel like that's why I was stuck. It's because I was concentrating on the wrong thing. It's like not like when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen, but just this feeling of what I want in my life. I want joy and happiness. I want prosperity. I want to be with people that think like me and accept me for who I am. And we have mutual love for each other and respect for each other. And I feel like I've grown into people like that in the community that we have and everything. And it's like, because I kept just asking for it all the time, and feeling into it when I meditate before I go to bed. It's like, I want to feel this way.
I presuppose that I feel that way, or I presuppose that it's already happening.
Yes.
Like when you said probably like 2 years ago now, you were trying to see if you wanted to do the jewelry business. And you were like, but I wanted this business and da-da-da-da-da. And like, Andrea, you have it. Like, you have the outlet for the creativity. You have the thing, but now you have to choose to grow it. So
and the patience too.
But it's that flip though.
Right.
I choose, like, I see either there's a thing that I'm doing or a way that I'm feeling
right
already that is that thing.
And not being desperate about it, not making it about the money, not making it about any of that, just what you feel and what you love to do. And that's why, once I got over myself being on camera, even, I just love doing this. I love talking about these things. I love being with Lindsay and have a connection with us two being together and knowing that we help you. And that's why I'm here, not because I'm looking to sell you something or anything, because I feel like it all works out that way. It's like I didn't even, I mean, even with the house sitting, I did that as a hobby for years. I was on like Rover since 2018. And I just love animals, and I love traveling, and I love places and history and how people live and culture and all. And it just worked out that way. I never could have dreamed it. I never talked about being a full-time house sitter ever. I have posts that go back 10 years of talking about van life and stuff like that. I just saw something come up. I'm like, whoa, all the way back then? Wow. So, I mean, I've been thinking about stuff like this. I've been on this same path as the universe is, but I just didn't have that full picture yet of what greatness is in store. Like,
sometimes you have to wait for innovation, technology,
right,
the right opportunity to.
You have to catch up with this so that you're ready for it, and that you can handle it, and you won't lose it quick because you weren't ready.
Right.
And I feel like that's sometimes why it delays. And the patience and the trust. I mean, that trust, allow, and surrender, and then surrender more with ease and grace. Is like my saying whenever I feel worried about something, or like something's not going right, it will work out. It always does. And you have proof, Andrea. Just chill. Put it in your balloon and send it up to the universe, and don't worry so much.
I'm not so good with that surrender stuff.
Oh, it took me. Oh, believe me, I wasn't always either.
No.
The worry thing.
I am
and
much
all.
more
Oh
of
my
a
God.
practical witch than I am a send it up to the universe.
It works.
It's not that I don't send things up to the universe.
I know.
I don't send
do it different.
I don't send my own goals up to the universe. I have to take the more empathic route, where in order to free myself to have the energy and the cultivated will in order to go forward with my goals, I have to send all my worries about everybody else up to the universe. So I have to send Rob up to the universe every day. I have to send my kid. I have to, all the kids, the dogs, my dad. Like they all go up. Like, yep, no, you take care of them while I take care of me taking care of me.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not even just so I can take care of taking care of me. Like that added. No, we're not just doing this for today. We're doing this for the long run.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I do that my own way too. I send up the things that I worry about and put it aside for now, because I can only deal with the things I can solve right now. And if it's not something I'm in control of, and that I have any I just have to wait it out, I send it up in my balloon, because then it frees me up and makes me feel better. And then I prove that, okay, my bank account's fine, everything is working out, you can sleep tonight, Andrea. This is on track for this, and you can sleep tonight, Andrea. And I have to do that. I have to constantly prove it to myself that everything's okay. It's a maintenance thing. It's every day you have to get up with that kind of mindset, that you're in that, like, you have to maintain the things that you have in line, like the things, the habits you have, and your journaling, your whatever you do, you have to maintain that, so that you have that stability, and that you don't fall off track very fast. And when you do fall off track, then it's not so bad, because then you have backups for that too. It's like nothing really booby traps me anymore. Like, I don't get into that like kind of mode as much, rarely. I mean, if I do it once every couple of months because something weird came up, but I normally I do trust more in the process, that I am taking action. I am doing the things I need to do to get to where I think I need to be. And then it's this and more.
Yeah.
It's this and more with ease and grace. That's the way I try to, like, please, more ease and grace.
But once you get into that trusting phase, especially for the intuitive and the empath and whatnot, this is also where that intuitive vision comes in,
Mhm.
because it's not just
Yeah.
like something like your mind makes up. Like I think this is where I need to be,
Right.
because then you also get those cues. I mean, sure, you could get the external cues, the
Mhm.
angel numbers and whatnot, and power numbers. I've been seeing those all month long, but you get the knowing, you get
Yeah.
the feeling, like, all right,
Right.
okay, all right, I'm done for the day. This is good. This is
Mhm.
right. This is okay. All right.
Well, that's why I talk about
I'm
the
released
feeling.
from duty now. Yeah.
That's where all the feels come in, because that's the intuition. I've learned to feel into it, because just expectations and stuff like that never got me anywhere, and I kept going around in an endless circle of things like patterns and all, because I expected things to happen this way. But now I've released that, so that I know it's going to work out. I know that everything is going to be okay. I'm feeling into what I need, what I want, what I know I deserve, what I'm worthy of, because you have to keep reminding yourself, because society is telling you the opposite of everything that's true. So I always am reminding myself of those, like, I mean, a lot of people don't like affirmations, but those I am statements are those divine statements that are telling you who you are and what you're all about, and making sure the universe knows that you are in alignment with it. So when I feel anxiety come on for whatever reason, I just sit there with my hand on my heart, and I go through whatever I'm feeling. I find an I am statement that is the opposite of what I'm feeling, so that I can take some deep breaths and get back into that alignment and get grounded again, so that I know the world's not falling apart. My boat's not sinking. My boat's not sinking, because ever since I was a kid, my boat was sinking. And my stepdad he actually bought me a little boat to put on my desk. Andrea, your boat's not sinking, because I'm a natural, nervous, high-strung kind of person. And it takes a lot to tame me. But I try to project that in a positive way that really helps everybody, because I think my energy is really good for that. The creative juices flow really well with my like hyper kind of mode that I go into, but you have to come in with that, because it can be intense sometimes.
Well, see, no, I don't do affirmations. I mean, yes, it's kind of affirmation-y, and I don't feel like I'm splitting hairs, though, because I don't sit there and repeat things to myself. But I do kind of fish around for what the truth is in that moment. Like, I just fish around in my heart, in my feelings. Like, what is the truth? Like, okay, the truth is maybe like I'm hurting, but I'm hurting because I care. I'm hurting because things aren't exactly where I want them to be. I'm hurting because, and like, I just come at it from like those base truths. So like, and I'm not like, sometimes I write them if I'm doing that exploration while I'm journaling. But if I'm not journaling, and if I'm just like maybe upstairs in bed, like getting ready for the night, it's just like, all right, well, the only way you can deal with this is by getting a good night's sleep. Nothing is gonna explode in the next 8 hours. You feel that,
exactly.
You recognize that truth.
Right? Yeah.
You feel like you
really
feel
have to
the
feel that, because sometimes
the recognition that I feel the feel, and then I go forward from there as if that were truth. Because if you're feeling it, if you're experiencing it, your body certainly is picking up something. Your input receptor, your bodysuit is picking something up that is, allowing you to perceive that. So there's something there. So I at least like to start there, because sometimes affirmations, like I get up in my head with just regular affirmations, and then it becomes like, almost like the rosary, where you're just like counting down until you're done. And I'm like,
I make
so
them
I have
personal.
I have to make it completely true for me in that moment.
It's just like I activate frequency codes for the same reason. If I, whatever I need at that time, if I need patience, whatever I need, I anchor it in and I bring it on so that it's in my field. It's all around me. It's hugging me. And the affirmations to me do the same thing, especially if I write them down. I don't write the same thing over and over again. I write it once and then I move on, because I'm just reversing what my negative thoughts are and I'm putting them into a good statement. And I feel like there's magic in writing. And as soon as I put it down on paper for good, the good stuff too, I feel like it is so. It's like if I write my dreams and aspirations out, or I write a new business plan for the month out, I feel like it's already like my imagination and all that magical stuff in you just triggers it into action. And all of a sudden, everything I do is built around what I wrote, because it like activates it. That's what writing does to me. It's like it's a magical thing that I'm seeing it. Sometimes I say it, I might read it again, because I'm very, that's how I've always learned. I like to see it and I like to hear it, and then it is.
I think I learned by doing more than I like. When it comes to that kind of thing, and really leaning into something you're not completely sure about yet, or you don't know how to, or like you only know like step 1 or 2,
Right.
So this month we've been using the analogy of going to that gym. Like, all right, I know I need to find myself a gym. Lindsay would want that to be a cheap gym and a gym that's 10 minutes away
Right.
from the house. But beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know what else, like, or how to support yourself going through that, like, so this is where I need a lot more clarity. So for me, just writing things down, I write down more questions I have than anything else.
I write down questions too. I ask,
how do I make this work?
Right.
Is this
Exactly.
what really then is the next step? Well, what do I like? Is this what I'm really doing?
But I also think it's like thinking outside the box. Like in reality, I was at Planet Fitness. I had a membership for years. I was miserable going there, even if I did stay true to it. I never thought like I really got a whole lot out of the experience. I didn't like being around all those people and stuff. Empathy stuff kind of gets triggered when you're very crowded and you're trying to do something good for yourself. And it's just like, but if I go to the mall and walk, like in the winter, I like to go to the mall and walk, and it's not so crowded, and you kind of do your own thing. And during the summer, I'm out in nature all the time, and I feel like it propels me to get moving. I have dogs around me usually too, which helps. And I don't have to go to a gym to get exercise, and I can be in a more meditative kind of spiritual state while I'm like getting that exercise, because I'm in a better environment that works for me. But having a treadmill at home did not work for me. It became a coat hanger. Going to the gym did not work for me, because I just didn't like all those other feels, because everybody else is having negative thoughts about their journey there too, and it kind of just makes you feel it too much. And you can't say, how do you stay positive when you feel everybody else?
Especially since they probably go there and they use that space to vent.
Right.
To vent their frustrations by running it out, or
right. Or you had the bodybuilder. I am not against those bodybuilders, don't get me wrong.
But talk about sometimes a place that needs to be saged.
Exactly. Not all the same kind of attitude I have towards life there. So I'm like, oh. So, but being out in nature or going to the mall is like more fun for me. Like I feel like more motivated to do it. So you have to kind of find what fits for you with anything that you're going to do in life. I feel like make it yours. It's a customized journey. It's not like you have to do it this way because everybody online told you to. Google's not always right.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, so I kind of write down my ideas of all the things I could try that I would like to try that sound juicy, that sound like they could be a fun little experiment. And I approach it like an experiment, whether it's for business or whether it's not that I've had a health goal for a while, but to be very, very transparent there. my only health goals are making sure I don't get a lot of colds. So like, I mean, I doubled down on supplements this past fall, and I started taking garlic, and there's an immune tea every night I drink, and on top of the elderberry stuff. And
I do
and
a lot of
it's
that kind
worked
of
out
stuff
pretty
too.
good. This is the first time I've been just a little sniffly since I was really sick right before Thanksgiving.
And that intuition thing is key too, because I feel what I need. I feel like I don't like drugs. I don't like, or even over the counter stuff unless I have to. I think the only thing I take is a leave that's like over the counter. Everything else came from a more holistic, natural business, and it's like, okay, I feel like more anxiety this month because I know things in the cosmic, energy is doing it to me also, along with whatever's going on in life, and I could use a little extra support. So it's like I do research and say what natural stuff can I take to help me, and I've really balanced out my supplements because I constantly am feeling into what I really need. I think it applies to everything in life. Really, just feel into what you really need.
And I mean, I've taken things that that didn't work.
Right?
Certainly.
Yeah. Sometimes I buy it once, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Why?
I don't think either way, I don't think it did anything. So why? But yeah, you live and learn. But I think that's what you do in life in general.
So like it's all an experiment,
right? Life, life is an experiment, and I try to make that the fun thing. Even if things don't always go my way, I feel like it's still, you can have the perspective. Like, what can I do to change this? What fun thing can I put in my life this week to give me a stress reliever because I just need to chill? Or, it's like, just like, I need to get out and just do like a cold air meditation. Or whatever, it's like whatever when you feel into yourself and you ask yourself, what do I really need? Mind, body, and soul. What do I really need?
$1 million and a vacation.
I house sit. I'm on vacation all the time. I don't look for a vacation. I just go to places. I hug doggies all the time.
Yeah, but it's not a trip to London.
No.
It's not really a cruise. It's a nice getaway, but
yeah, I know. I get what you're saying. Yeah, but it's what you make of it, though. I mean, right now in my life where I'm at now, this is what makes me happy. And so my next job, I might get paid for it, but I really enjoy every stay. I do my photography. I think I'm more creative at a lot of these houses that are out in the country, out in the middle of nowhere, with the wildlife and the good sunrises and sunsets and, and the way people decorate their houses for holidays and stuff. That's what gets me going. So I feel like for now, where I'm at in my life, this is like the perfect place to be. And I think things are going very well, even if they don't always seem like that in general. That's the way I have to, sometimes you have to take it as a whole. It's like, yes, not everything is perfect, but life shouldn't be perfect. It'll be boring if it was perfect.
Well, that kind of wraps around to a point that I've been thinking of, and then we got off track, but it was just like, it's really that focus on the bigger vision and believing that the bigger vision is possible, that it's not really just about the little tasks along the way, but it's, why those tasks are even important or a thing to do. And it's certainly what got me through the harder times. Like when my daughter was on a mental health journey, having to like step into, facilities and being like, this is my life now. It was just like, yeah, but this is your life now because we have to start over from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And, what happens when it's time to come home again?
Right.
And, what kind of relationship do you want to have then? And so like those big defining visions are absolutely essential. And you just remember, you got to, try and keep it somewhat realistic so that you believe it. So that at the very least you believe it.
And I'm sure there were some days you woke up and you're just like thankful for the fact that you can go see her today, kind of thing. Like it was time to go see her, and that's what you had to hold on to,
Yeah.
It's the fact that you could go see her, and not everybody out there had the same,
because it was because I could go see her, even if the visit wasn't everything I wanted it to be, or fulfilled me emotionally, or maybe just like nothing more than beyond that base, like I can lay eyes on my kid mother thing. That it we're still talking, like we're still alive, so there's always hope.
Right.
There's always hope that there's going to be a shift.
And hopefully I'll get a hug, and that will make my day too, kind of thing, little things. And sometimes you have to do that. It's like, what like how they always say that at the end of the day, you should say, what 3 things am I grateful for in life today? And come up with it, no matter how shitty you feel about life and where things are. Come up with 3 things you're grateful for, even if it is that you ate dinner, you had a roof over your head, and your partner loves you or something.
I still write those things.
Yeah.
I still write, I have a warm and safe house.
Like, yeah, well, because you understand that more than
days.
And it's like I'm thankful for people more than ever because of what we deal with, with her husband and his health and everything. It's really made me aware of how precious people and life and time and everything is, health, and and how quickly things can go the other way. I mean, you just don't know how long you have on earth. Anybody. It doesn't matter how healthy you are. I mean, you could be the healthiest person, never been on medication ever, no surgeries, nothing, and poof, you could be like 40 years old and gone. So you never know.
I mean, we're starting to get to be that age where we're, looking at the obituaries like,
yeah, and that's catching up with us. But I mean, you could, car accidents, anything. I mean, you don't know. Yeah. You just don't know what tomorrow has in store or the next hour.
And you can't, you can't take it for granted.
No.
Like you really can't.
I've gotten into the, I was like, I was always kind of like that, but you're making sure you say you love people before you leave the house kind of thing and all. It's kind of really become a precious thing for me. It's
but
like
living in that present moment tends to be like just so much more fulfilling.
Yeah.
And the minute we step out of that present moment, that's when we kind of get caught in that trap of expectation.
Yeah.
Expectations on ourselves, pressure on ourselves. And expectations on others. And so just coming back to that present moment and what's true in that moment and what's true about what you feel in that moment can really shift so much energy, so much mental stuff, so much emotional baggage stuff. Even when you step into a new situation and then all of a sudden you hit that panic point of like, oh no, like, did I just like repeat the same mistake? Did I just, move in with somebody, who's like the same person as I just left? Right. You really have to, center yourself back in, like, but is it the same? Do I feel the same?
Exactly. I mean, are you handling it differently? Are you like even little moments that aren't that drastic? It's like, oh, I just saw that pattern pop up again, or that feeling or something. And it's like, oh, but you know what? You handled that very well, Andrea. Wow, that didn't last as long as last time or anything. And you have to, I always praise myself for those little things and make myself aware of it, because it can go unnoticed otherwise and continue to repeat if you don't acknowledge that you've changed something. I feel like that little bit of a out loud, and even in the mirror or whatever, it's like, wow, good job, Andrea. You just like, wow, that was like, it was, it looks this small, but it's like this big because of how far you've come,
Yeah.
That's the way I like to measure it in a way. It's like, wow. You have to look back sometimes and say, you've been through so much and look at who you are today because of it all. Wasn't it like, in the end, it was worth it. You've learned something. As long as you learn something from your mistakes and the things that happened to you in life, I feel like you come out a better person and that it was all worth it. It was all worth it.
So now tell everybody about your liberated.
Oh, I'm so
from him
excited.
experience.
It's for Valentine's Day. And I feel like the first thing that I had to do with myself after, the whole divorce stuff was even before that, I had to find things to do for myself. Going on that, dating myself, learning, how to be alone, and eat in public. It's not always the most comfortable thing at first. People they get judgy. The waitress, nobody else, you're here alone. It's weird. So it's like I did that even before I filed. I just started going out and trying to, that actively pursuing your dream kind of thing. I want to be free, not even the marriage free, but in myself free. So this makes me feel good to go out on a date with myself. So I thought that Valentine's Day would be the best time to help people, support people in this journey, because no matter where you are on your journey, somewhere along the line, you're going to need that freedom to be who you want to be, who you truly are, whether you're in a relationship or not. Because sometimes relationships, you get masked, especially if you're an empath. That's what happened to me. I just kind of sunk in and was like the chameleon and just blended in with my environment and did everything their way. And I felt safe there, even though it was not healthy, So little by little, I started getting that courage to go out by myself. I went to the movies and I went to restaurants and I took long shopping experiences where I just walked around stores with a shopping cart. Didn't have to buy anything. I just liked being there by myself, and then it just grew because you got confidence. You got secure with yourself and being that person all by yourself, and you didn't feel lonely anymore because then you start knowing yourself and knowing that your home and hearth isn't here and not in the house you lived in or anywhere else. So I think that the self-love thing and knowing your boundaries and stuff like that is very important. Finding out who you are and where you want to go. Do you want to stay with your husband and make it work, or your partner, or whatever your situation is? Or do you want to leave? It doesn't really matter at this point in the game. My paid group goes into more. We'll be launching that after the masterclass. And that will go into more detail about what to do if you make those decisions. But for right now, I want you to love yourself and not worry about Valentine's Day as something you have to have a partner for. You can love yourself enough to go on that date, buy yourself flowers, get yourself chocolate, make yourself a special dinner you haven't made in a long time. Do something great for yourself. So this is a week of rediscovery, and I hope you will join me the 7th through the 14th of February.
And we'll make sure to put the actual links in the comments once we are done with this.
Yes.
So, just hit refresh when you're done and you'll see the links come up. Because we're not entirely sure how this QR code thing works. Yes, we know how QR codes work. We're not sure if it'll actually take you to a sign up page if you don't want to use the QR code. There we go. And on the 22nd, we start with a brand new experience called the Crown and Empath. So if you are an empath who has had struggles with, boundaries, drain, negativity, that kind of stuff, and you want to connect with your sacred and courageous heart and step into your clean self, then this is the event for you. Let's bring that up. There we go. The Crown and Empath Experience. It's a free 5-day thing. It starts on the 22nd. But we're going to take a dip into a little bit of the mythic realms so we can kind of just step away from our daily lives and kind of reframe a lot of how we think about our empathy. So, It turns from that feeling that like, oh, I'm always so emotionally overwhelmed and I cry so easily, to something that is celebratory and really embracing of our strong and courageous hearts. All right. So I hope to see you there. It is filling up quick.
Yes.
I'm like, woohoo. That's exciting.
And that is connected to our Queen of the Inner Realm group.
Mhm.
So we'll have more exciting news about that too.
Yes, about our membership circle.
Yes.
Yeah. But so if you want to get in on the early bird pricing for our Queen of the Inner Realm circle, certainly come to the Crown and Empath Experience, and there will be a free gift. We're actually going to record that right after this. So if you sign up for the Crown and Empath, you will get the free gift, which is going to be all about empathic boundaries. All right.
And Friday,
That's us. Oh,
Friday, Coffee with Andrea. I'll be in New York house sitting. So you'll get to see a cafe in New York on Friday.
upstate New York, not New York
Yeah,
City.
Binghamton area. Yes.
Well, because I think half the country thinks New York is just New York City. Yeah. And I will see you on Monday for the Magic Bringers Rising energy report for the week. And yeah, but no, go sign up for our things.
Yes.
They're free. Why not? Come hang out with us for a week. All right. Love you all. See
Love
you
you.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and happy new moon.
Yes, happy new moon.
Happy new moon.